Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, September 6, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let's just take a look at the US National Hurricane Center's 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. You can still see that they have that area highlighted across the northeastern portion of the North Atlantic for a low chance of possible development. And we can see that they've lowered the chances for that area closer to Africa for possible development as well. But it's still definitely going to be developed as it moves towards the northwest. If we take a look at Hurricane Lee in yesterday's video, we noticed the forecast was showing that it would have strengthened to a hurricane by around Thursday, and today is Wednesday and it's already a hurricane. So it's definitely strengthening fast. It's making use of all of those very warm sea surface temperatures across the main development region. And now it is actually forecast to make it to major hurricane status of category 3 or higher by Friday afternoon. Right now, it's only a low-end hurricane category 1, packing maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour, and it's still moving towards the west-northwest at 14 miles per hour. As we can see, it's expected to pass to the north of the Eastern Caribbean, just like what the Euro and the GFS models have been showing for the past week. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see Lee now. We can see that it's still a bit outdated with the naming, still showing Tropical Storm Lee even although it was updated only like 3 hours ago. But we can still see that we have high pressure that's still dominating the entire Atlantic basin, still sending most of what's coming off of Africa towards the west. Taking a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see that we don't have much happening across the central and the eastern Caribbean. What we actually have is what that stalled out cold front brought, so it's definitely inducing more of a trough like pattern across portions of the eastern Gulf of Mexico, Cuba, the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, not to mention sections of Hispaniola and Jamaica, and that's what's been responsible for bringing about some amount of thunder showers for the past couple of days. We can also see Hurricane Lee right there spinning away across the main development region, and to the east of Lee, that other area of disturbed weather that's bound to develop. Alright, let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today. In yesterday's video, we made mention that we would have had some amount of rainfall across sections of some northern and western parishes. That was more in line to what we saw on the GFS model. This picture is from GFS showing more rainfall across sections of some northern and western parishes, and if you remember yesterday's video, it actually showed more in the way of rainfall for sections of central and western Jamaica on the Euro model. And what ended up happening, if we actually take a look at the post that was made this afternoon at 2:55 p.m. on our Twitter page, not only our Twitter page, but if you also have Facebook, Instagram or TikTok, we also make our posts there when I'm not uploading to YouTube, so please follow. You can see that a post was made highlighting afternoon thunder showers across sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica. So it didn't confine itself to the northern portion of the island like what the GFS had shown. It actually did more in favor of what the Euro model was showing. So definitely sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica. At this point in time, we were having more of the thunderstorm activity across sections of northern St. Andrew, northern St. Catherine, northern Clarendon, southern St. Anne, sections of northern St. Elizabeth, and even sections of eastern Westmoreland. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can see where we had those thunderstorm pockets, especially across sections of some central parishes in Jamaica. And we can even see it better on the infrared satellite images. This is the latest infrared satellite loop. And we can see all of those sparkling white dots that represent some amount of lightning flashes, if not lightning strikes, especially across sections of some central parishes in Jamaica. Definitely got some deep thunderstorms across sections of Manchester and Clarendon today. And we can see that by recording or by evening time, most of that cloud cover was dying out. Maybe a little drizzle or dew here and there across southern Manchester, southern Clarendon as well. We didn't see much in the way of rainfall across sections of Hanover or St. James or even Portland or St. Thomas. If we take a look at the Cuban Doppler radar images, we know the green represents some amount of light to moderate rainfall. The yellows represent some heavy or strong rainfall. And we do see some greens, just like what we saw in the satellite images, that represent some light rainfall across sections of southern Manchester, Clarendon, maybe even sections of St. Catherine getting in on some of that as well. And yes, we have to be using the Cuban Doppler radar images because the Jamaican Doppler radar has been out for a very long time now. Hopefully they get it sorted out as soon as possible. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can still have 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and as usual as the night progresses, these temperatures should be getting lower. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS malls are showing some amount of yellows, if not slightly orange shades, that represent up to 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the average temperatures for the month of September is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit actually, which is about the equivalent of 31 degrees Celsius. So if we actually take a look at the thermometer matching 90 degrees Fahrenheit, that's about 32 degrees Celsius. So if we should be receiving 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures for tomorrow, anywhere from 31, 32, maybe 33, even 34 degrees Celsius across the island. Alright, let us take a look at the dry air map. We can see that we still have some amount of dry air across sections of the South Central Caribbean Sea. Not so much dry air across Jamaica, Cuba, and Hispaniola. We can see that the air is very moist, associated with the trough that was left back by that cold front. As it relates to the Saharan dust, however, we can see that by 2 p.m. on Thursday, most of the Central and Eastern Caribbean should start to clear out. As you can see by those blue shades, most of the Saharan dust is going to be maybe over Jamaica and west of Jamaica, not to mention right there across the main development region. But as it relates to the vigorous Saharan dust, we're actually out of those woods. Won't be seeing some more vigorous Saharan dust until maybe next year, late May, June, or early July. Alright, let us take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow. We can still see much of the same like what we've been receiving all week. More in the way of 1.5 meter wave heights across eastern and southern parishes, while western and northern parishes having less than a meter wave heights with all of those light blue colors. And we see that on both the Euro and the GFS because the winds are going to be strongest on the south and the eastern side of the island, maybe averaging up to 15 to 20 knot winds. North coast with less wind, maybe 10 knots. And we can also see those darker shades of blues again that represent the least amount of winds across sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica on the Euro. GFS, more northern and western parishes. And we know what usually happens during the afternoon. We have those cumulus clouds piling up. Then we have that, diurnal convection, that daytime heating that contributes to those cumulus clouds becoming cumulonimbus clouds. And then we have that afternoon thunderstorm across those very areas. And with the upper level winds coming in from the west, northwest across Jamaica for Thursday, more than likely any absolute thunder shower that develops across sections of some central and western or northern and western parishes in Jamaica, those high cold cloud tops are going to be blown off towards the southeast, maybe making way for more overcast skies, if not some rainfall to sections of some southern parishes as well. So definitely sections of some central and western parishes could be in for some more rainfall for tomorrow. We can see that right here on the Euro model, showing some amount of blues across sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica. Even some greens that represent some even heavier rainfall across portions of Westmoreland. and this is valid for 1 p.m. Jamaica time. What does the GFS model show? The GFS is showing something somewhat similar. Central and western parishes, darker blues and rainfall, heavy rainfall across sections of Westmoreland, maybe northern St. Elizabeth, majority of the cockpit country in general. But we do see the consensus, we do see that both the Euro and the GFS models are showing something similar in terms of where we're going to be having that rainfall tomorrow. And it's very much in line with what we saw on the wind forecast and the wind shear forecast. So definitely some amount of rainfall for sections of central western Jamaica tomorrow. And we can see the total accumulated precipitation forecast showing up to 0.61 of an inch of rainfall on the Euro. I don't believe what the Euro is showing. The GFS showing up to 0.61, maybe across western Jamaica, which makes more sense. I saw the 0.61 across portions of Kingston and St. Andrew on the Euro. GFS making more sense with that rainfall across sections of some western parishes. So definitely sections of some central and western parishes gonna be getting in on that rainfall. And we're very much grateful for the rainfall that we're gonna be receiving across sections of Jamaica tomorrow. Considering that we're in the month of September, we usually receive an increase in the amount of rainfall up until October. So hopefully the rainfall that we're going to be getting puts some kind of a dent in the hydrological drought that we're currently experiencing. Even although we're not getting the rainfall in the areas that we need it, like Kingston and St. Andrew, where the reservoir and dam levels are low, hopefully we get more rainfall in those spots soon. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see some pockets of isolated thunderstorms across sections of northern Guyana, Venezuela, Panama, sections of Costa Rica, not to mention sections of Guatemala and the Yucatan Peninsula. You can see that as well across sections of Cuba, the Yucatan Peninsula, not Yucatan, the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos, not to mention sections of Hispaniola. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean for today, we can see that yes, we had some amount of scattered showers, some isolated showers across sections of Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Kitts, St. John's, Montserrat, maybe sections of Guadeloupe and Dominica might have gotten in on some amount of rainfall for today. Even sections of St. Barth might have gotten in on some amount of rainfall. We do see some rainfall across sections of northern and western Puerto Rico as well, with that daytime heating convection. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, we didn't see much in the way of rainfall across Barbados for today, but we do see some scattered showers to the north of Barbados, maybe to affect sections of Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and even sections of the Grenadine Islands. Not much in the way of rainfall at all for sections of Grenada or Trinidad and Tobago. If we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall coming into sections of the view right here, maybe to make way into sections of southwestern Florida or the Keys. You can also see some rainfall across sections of Cuba, just like what we saw in the satellite images just now, the Yucatan Peninsula, Guatemala, and even sections of Colombia. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS are still showing average to slightly above average temperatures across majority of the Caribbean basin, as indicated by the yellows, oranges, gold colors that represent 1 to even 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. While as it relates to the Saharan dust, we're grateful that for 2 p.m. on Thursday, most of this dust should, dwindle, dissipate, and we are definitely grateful for that. As it relates to the wave forecast for tomorrow, majority of the Caribbean should be receiving 1.5 meter wave heights, and we see that on both the Euro and the GFS model. But look where we have those high waves, 2 meter wave heights or more, maybe even up to 6, all being churned up by Hurricane Lee. Even another system right there across portions of the Eastern Pacific, but we won't be talking about that. Definitely, we're gonna be seeing Hurricane Lee waves in the waves that Hurricane Lee is gonna be churning up intensify. So just like what we see over here on the Eastern Pacific side with those broad of waves, or that large in size kind of span in terms of the wave field, that's what is gonna happen when Hurricane Lee makes it to category 3 or more status when it's passing to the north of the Caribbean. So it's gonna be lots of waves stretching all the way across the southwestern Atlantic, maybe even affecting portions of the eastern United States. And we can also see that the winds make sense across the Caribbean, up to 20 knot winds at most, especially to the south of Hispaniola, with the rest of the area expecting 15 knot winds. While wherever we have the systems churning up the water for tomorrow, that's where we have the stronger winds, 25 knots or more, even up to 75 miles per hour, which is hurricane status. As related to the rain forecast for tomorrow, we can start to see the rainfall coming into view that Lee is going to be bringing across the waters. That's basically a fish storm, so it won't be affecting land. We see the land here. This is where the rainfall is going to be affecting. So sections of Suriname, Guyana and French Guyana won't be getting in on any rainfall at all. More of the rainfall is confined to sections of Venezuela, Colombia especially, sections of Panama, Costa Rica, not to mention sections of Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, and we can also see some more rainfall in store for sections of Cuba, the Cayman Islands, the Turks and Caicos, sections of northern Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, even sections of the northeastern Caribbean could get in on some amount of isolated showers anywhere from Dominica northward, so Dominica, Guadeloupe, St. Kitts and Nevis, and those other surrounding territories. And we do see something similar happening on the Euro model, like what we see on the GFS model. I know that when both maps are showing consensus like this, when they're in agreement like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.